Hello and welcome to the Yorkshire Voice podcast with me, Evan Whitton, and I'm also joined by, if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Bo and Freya Webber.
So we've got a lot of ground to cover today, and we'll start off with the fact that today is International Workers' Memorial Day, which is a day to honour the people that lost their lives in the workplace and also those that fight for the rights of people who are still working. This year's theme is digitalisation and AI. And I think recently the trouble of journalists in the workplace has been amplified by things like the conflict in Ukraine and Lebanon as well. And we've got words from Adam Christie of the West Yorkshire branch of the National Union of Journalists, as well as Jawad Kashwari, who works for Hazards magazine and the accompanying campaign. So we chatted to them earlier and got a few words from them.
The 28th of April is International Workers' Memorial Day. It's a day where trade unions and safety activists across the world organise events and campaigns to remember those who have been killed at work, but also to fight for the safety and health of the living. This is needed more than ever in the UK, where 18,000 workers each year are killed or seriously injured at work, and where 34 million workdays are lost to ill health, costing £415 million a week. Journalism is one of the most dangerous professions. In the latest round of the Palestine-Israel conflict with Israel, over 200 journalists and media workers have been killed, mostly Palestinians and Lebanese, many times above the average. Despite severe Israeli restrictions on reporting and investigation, the Committee to Protect Workers has been able to determine that at least 17 journalists and 2 media workers were directly targeted by Israeli forces, killings which the CPJ classifies as murders. The theme of International Workers' Memorial Day this year is the digitalisation of work and artificial intelligence. Work conditions and the pace of work can now be dictated by an app, your performance and trips to the loo monitored by a computer, and your job lost because of surveillance from a robot. The genie is out of the bottle, but we can still put up walls to contain and direct it. Workers and their representatives should be part of a measured and safer approach, where duties are put on employers to identify and control the risks before they get out of hand.
Too many people lose their lives in the course of their work. For example, more than 150 journalists and media workers have been killed during the conflicts in Gaza alone. More have died in other conflicts, such as those in the Lebanon and Ukraine. Workers' Memorial Day today provides us with an opportunity to think about those people, remember them if they were colleagues, and above all, think about ways we can make our own working lives safer. It's crucially important for us, for our families, and for everyone around us. It's also an opportunity to think about the hazards that we face every day. For example, a report out today from the International Trade Union Confederation reveals how social media moderators' mental health is being absolutely trashed by the work that they do. Technology involves, but so do the risks at work, because changes to work can introduce unforeseen dangers to both our physical and our mental health. Today is the day to remember that and to get our employers and organisations to make sure that we are safe and protected properly.
So obviously, workers' rights, workers' efficacy of work is obviously a huge issue and always will be. And I just wondered what you guys thought, particularly with the emphasis on digitalization and things like that this year, which are very kind of hot topics at the moment.
I'd say obviously with like AI and everything becoming really popular, that we're going into a time where people are a little bit unsure of what to expect and are a little bit scared, especially as journalists, thinking about what jobs are going to be available when, like for myself, when I graduate, like what is the media world going to be like what is it going to look like? And obviously people's safety around technology and everything, it's just a big topic where I think a lot of people are a little bit unsure.
Yeah. How about you, Bo?
In the media industry, it's I think a problem with jobs anyway. There's a lack of people who are experienced in the field. They're having to like take on regular 9-to-5s because there's just not enough jobs in the field. And like they were saying about AI's got a lot to do with it. But yeah, but it's good that we're having an emphasis on this and bringing awareness to it.
Because I think the whole thing about what one of the interviewees said there earlier was like, toilet breaks being monitored by a robot, which to me is just like slightly Orwellian in a way. Like,
Yeah.
you're being monitored every time you go to the toilet or like break off for
And
a
it's like
sandwich or
it's your
something.
human rights, isn't it, to
Yeah.
go to the toilet? So
Yeah, and I think there is that thing of like humans get empathy and they understand. So like, if you're 2 minutes late for a meeting because you had to calm down your dog, a human will understand that, whereas a robot won't see that. And
No,
so I feel like
exactly.
we're kind of there's dangers there definitely, but I think hopefully if people take notice of it, we should get out the other end of it. Okay. Moving on to the next topic then, there's been a £45 million transformation of Bradford city centre with the reopening of the Norfolk Gardens, which is a 10,000 square metre green space which boasts trees, cycle lanes and play areas. And there's events like the Super Soapbox Challenge set for the 4th of May as well. This has been funded by the Transforming Cities Fund, which makes Bradford safer, greener and more connected for residents and visitors. We spoke to a member of the public about how they feel about the changes.
Anything that gets rid of cars, in my mind, just is worth it. And I've no value, and I've no idea of value.
Yeah.
So to me, 45 million, you could have given any figure and it had the same effect.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
definitely. Do you see yourself coming through here more often?
Well, I come here every day.
Picturesque?
I come here every day.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my travel pass.
Oh, lovely.
So I get the bus every day to get a metro.
Yeah.
So I like to get the news, and then I just come into Bradford. So I've seen this being built for the last couple of years now.
Yeah.
Because I moved back into Bradford in the last 3 years, but I was born here anyway, so I do consider myself as a Bradfordian anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think what's happening at the moment is I think that the area is looking superb. The only trouble is it's just wrecked by cars and people's attitudes to driving.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this has closed down one of the busiest roads, I think, if I'm correct. So now it's a more pedestrianised area. And do you prefer walking through now? Yeah.
Well, I do. So, but because I have no car or anything like that, deliberately, I can only get so much and carry so much. So I just go in every day, have a nice roll around, see what's going on. This is great as far as I'm concerned. This is superb. What's been going on in Bradford. It's just I just hope everybody else has the same appreciation of what's been done for them.
So I suppose the question is, what emphasis do you guys think? Because we live in an area like around the Dales where there's a lot of green areas, a lot of open fields and farmland. So obviously, like preserving the green areas is quite important. But obviously, you've got areas that are maybe more industrialized, like Bradford. And so, personally, I think that this is quite a good move. But I wondered what either of you thought about it.
It's great for society, isn't it? As a whole, like it's proven that being out in nature just makes you more positive. And I think it's doing great for the area. Because I've never imagined Bradford as like a green place whatsoever. So I'm glad they're introducing this.
No, yeah, me neither. How about you, Freya? I know that you I don't. Well, I'll let you speak for yourself.
Yeah.
I suppose.
No, I think obviously I'm from London myself, and whenever I go down, I realise there's not a lot of parks or green areas as much as they used to, and especially if you're working in the city on like your lunch breaks and stuff, you want somewhere to go sit and just have a break in nature. So I think that's what Bradford were thinking with this area, but also it, like the man said, is that it will cut down on like, that busy road, any accidents that could have happened. And I think also we'll get more people going out on their bikes, walking in the city, which will help the environment overall. So I just think Bradford's going the right way, and it's just exciting to see what's coming next.
Yeah. Also, I think when you talk about like people on bikes and walking and stuff, there is also that element of like increased physical activity, which is always good for like, just being healthy and
mental health.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the next topic is quite an interesting one because West Yorkshire Police is galloping into action with Operation Gallop, which is the UK's first national week to tackle equine crimes. So from today to Sunday, May the 4th, the focus is on helping drivers safely maneuver around horses and protect horse boxes. Officers will be visiting stables, promoting the Horse Watch scheme, which has reduced the theft from 65 to 7 in a 15-year period. Sean Taylor, who's the wildlife crime officer, urges owners to mark their horse boxes and track serial numbers. And also the week emphasizes that drivers should slow down to 10 miles an hour and maintain 2-meter distance when passing horses. So I suppose to kick this off, at least where I live down in quite a rural area, that like people might say that this is like a weird allocation of funds to do something about horses, but down where I live and a lot of places around Dales, there are a lot of horses about, and so I think this is probably going to be a very useful initiative for people. Like, as weird as it might sound, I wondered what either of you thought. Have either of you like owned a horse at any point?
No, but they're just beautiful creatures and they deserve respect on the roads as well as the riders, because I've seen people disrespect them by zooming past, and it startles them, it frightens them, which can cause accidents. So I'm glad they're taking initiative to, like, you know, care about this.
Yeah.
I think the furthest I've got to owning a horse would be horse riding lessons when I was younger. But yeah, obviously, you know, with horse races and stuff like that are very popular up north.
Yeah.
A lot of people love going to the races. So I think they'd be behind this movement, especially because they want to carry on enjoying that entertainment, but also know that the horses are being looked after and the trainers aren't having to, you know, like stress about what's happening to the horses.
Yeah.
And I think, let's just gallop away.
Yeah, I mean, because like you say, horses, especially around here, are they're quite a serious commodity as well. Like, people pay a lot for horses. I know we were talking before the podcast about the infamous Shergar case, which is a racehorse that got taken for ransom and eventually, unfortunately, killed. And so I think something like this can kind of bring emphasis to like keeping horses safe. I know you were quite
definitely it's just caring for these animals and the people, because the people riding these horses, it's dangerous on the roads for them as well. And I'm glad they're like looking after them.
Yeah, cool. So on to sport now. Sunday night was a big one for Bradford City's manager Graham Alexander, because he took the coveted Manager of the Season award at the EFL end of season ceremony. Alexander triumphed over tough competition, including Port Vale's Darren Moore, Matt Sadler and Andy Woodman. It's a well-deserved win after an incredible season, leading Bradford City to success. Now, I suppose a thing about this is that, you know, people often put a lot of emphasis on, you know, the Premier League, you know, the big teams. But I think it's really good that like our local teams like Bradford are getting a highlight for the work that they do, because I know from people that I've spoken to that Bradford City, it's got such a passionate, like, real ride or die fan base. And so to see that their work is finally paying off, not only with this, but also with them potentially getting promoted, that, you know, it's good to have a highlight on that. I wondered if either of you had ever seen anything about Bradford City recently that interested you at all, or?
Well, not necessarily on Bradford, but we have York City, so it's the same sort of thing. Like, it's great to see people back in their local teams and showing support. But
I'd say, I think in joint connection, I know there's that little rivalry between Bradford and Leeds, but I think the joint connection between seeing these teams do well, the managers do well, I think it means like football in Yorkshire is becoming like a staple, and they're getting recognised for being decent teams, are actually getting through places. So I think that's a good thing. Yeah,
because I mean, granted, I don't follow football very closely, but I mean, this is like quite a big thing. You know, I can't remember the last time that Bradford got promoted, so this is like the first in at least a little while, and so I'm glad that that's happening. I'm glad that Graham Alexander is getting his dues as well, because he's clearly done a very good job with them. And finally, for the final topic today, we'll cover this briefly. There's a mini heat wave on the way, so temperatures are set to rise over the next few days, with the Met Office predicting highs of 29 degrees by midweek. In Bradford, we're looking at a high of 25 degrees this Wednesday, which is perfect for some sunshine. But as I should always say, stay cool, keep hydrated, sun cream, all that stuff. So I just wondered if either of you guys had any plans for the hot weather.
It's the start of festival season this weekend, so
it is.
In Leeds, I'm off to Mint Fest, which is held on a little farm on the outskirts, so I'm excited for that. In the hot weather as well, no silly rain for once.
That's
I
good.
hope, touch wood.
How about you, Freya? You got
I think for me, I'm just going to make the most of the sun, go out on my lunch break, cheeky sunbathe, nice outfit. I think that's me happy. Wish I could be having a beer, but I'm on the job, so.
I think, I don't.
They're on the job.
Yeah. Maybe not. I can't really say much for myself because me and sun do not mix well. I end up looking like one of them drumstick lollies when I go out in the sun too long. So, hopefully I'll find a way to enjoy it, and hopefully I don't burn myself. But yes, as I said already, keep hydrated, stay cool. But most of all, while it's sunny, enjoy it, take advantage of it, have fun, and it's a good way to bring the summer season in properly, I think. So that's all we've got time for today. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the Yorkshire Voice podcast yet again. And so from me and from Freya and Bo, thank you very much, and we'll chat to you again soon.